let's get into the sixth style personality, and that is the preppy Ivy League woman of style. So when I think of the prep Ivy League woman of style, the energy, the aesthetic surrounding this particular style personality, I immediately think about classic movies such as The Great Gatsby, Mona Lisa's Smile, Dead Poets Society, Clueless, Gossip Girl, Legally Blonde, The Chronicles of Sabrina, that was a huge hit on Netflix. Those type of movies that very much speak to the whole academia, light versus dark, preppy, traditional uniform aesthetic of this particular style personality. Now, if we look at the history and roots of the prep Ivy League style personality, it has its foundations in the 1920s. This was a time of symbolism and elitism, and having your children or you yourself attending top boarding schools, prep schools, Ivy League schools such as Philip Andover, those sort of prep boarding schools, along with Ivy League college schools such as Harvard, Princeton, Yale, those top three high-ranking Ivy League prep schools was all about symbolism, all about community, all about tradition and heritage. Somewhat hearkening back to the old money style personality that I spoke about in the last video. And again, I will link to that below in the description of this particular video. So there was a very strong message about being in the right circles and attending boarding schools, prep schools, Ivy League schools that had a name behind it, that had a tradition behind it. And out of this community of elite individuals from society who were able to send their children there came this uniform that is now known as prep Ivy League style, and even now today is also known as trad neo prep, and we'll get to that later on in the video. But what is most important to know about this particular style personality, if you resonate with it, is neatness, conservatism, and formality that are all integrated into this one particular style personality. Now, when we get into the trad neo prep subcategory of this particular style personality, you'll start to see that a lot of that conservatism starts to dissipate, and a more contemporary, edgy version of prep Ivy League is more accessible, it's more approachable, and most importantly, it is more inclusive of all ethnicities, not just one specific group of individuals within society who have access to the wealth and the upper class circles within these sort of prep schools and Ivy League colleges. So the foundations, as I mentioned before, the emergence of the prep Ivy League style personality, the energy, the aesthetic, the tradition, the community around this particular style personality has its roots and foundations coming out of the northeastern parts of the US and was quickly adapted to other segments of society and other countries as it became more mainstream in the 1950s. And as we headed into the 1980s, that's when we had this cultural movement and re-emergence of this particular style personality through the sartorial The Prep Handbook. So this was a handbook that was created to be a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek, poking a little bit of fun, but also showing you how to become prep Ivy League, what schools to go to, color combinations, types of outfits to wear, to emulate, to project this particular style personality. It was no longer as exclusive and no longer only tied to specific individuals that attended these preparatory schools and elite Ivy League colleges. It became more adaptable, more accessible for other segments within society who just simply wanted to look the part, but not necessarily be from that particular elite, exclusive circle of individuals who were able to attend preparatory schools and Ivy League college such as Harvard, Princeton, and Yale. So as we go through this particular style personality, as I have been doing throughout the style personality series, I'm going to be going through signature style elements and notable style icons that resonate with this particular style personality. So signature key elements of the Prep Ivy League style is collegiate style, uniform style, and sporting attire, all integrated into this one particular style personality, depending on how you put together a particular outfit that is emulating or evoking the energy, the aesthetic, and style of this particular style personality.
By the way, ladies, if you are wanting to experiment with this style personality, navy blue is a timeless staple for anyone drawn to the preppy Ivy League aesthetic. A cable knit sweater or cardigan, like the one I'm wearing right now in the video, is another essential investment piece that perfectly captures this classic style. I'm wearing a cable knit sweater from Tommy Hilfiger, a pinstripe collar blouse from Joe Fresh, and high-waisted jeans from H&M. So you can always mix it up. You can do a collar shirt underneath the cable knit sweater, or if you're opting for a cardigan, you could do a really nice crisp white or a really nice beige blouse underneath. It's all up to you, but just remember neatness, conservatism, and a little bit of color always goes a long way. You can find all the links in the description below. And no, this is not a sponsored post. These are just my preferences for this particular style personality. And I think the brands are both affordable and accessible depending on your budget. Let's get back to the video.
So you'll want to think about classic navy blue blazers, navy blue cable knit sweaters, tailored trousers, tailored chinos, loafers, tailored blouses for women, elite school logos, school crest, and that's harkening back a little bit to what I spoke about with the old money aesthetic. Again, if you haven't checked out that particular video, I highly suggest that you check out that video as well. And just the overall look of the Prep Ivy League style personality. Again, it's very clean, it's very streamlined, it's not complicated, it's not into loud logos, bold artistic accessories, or very loud prints and colors, unless you are more leaning towards or you resonate with the trad neo-prep style personality, and we'll be getting to that towards the end of this particular video. So with this traditional style personality being the Prep Ivy League woman of style, you are very much aware of how you are projecting your personal brand through this very traditional, heritage-inspired, elite type of style personality and energy. Now, it doesn't mean that you're a snob or that you think that you're better than other people. You just tend to gravitate towards very clean, simple, traditional outfits and the overall image and aesthetic of this particular style personality. So other key signature style elements of this particular style personality are Oxford button-down shirts, collared shirts, polo sweaters, khaki skirts, khaki pants, those sort of very streamlined, conservative, preppy Ivy League looks works really well with this particular style personality. If you happen to be a woman who is in a conservative 9-to-5 career, you will definitely want to incorporate some aspect of the preppy Ivy League style into your current wardrobe and accessories if you happen to resonate with this particular style personality. The prep handbook of the 1980s also got into etiquette and social graces, so how you present yourself, social interaction with certain individuals within this exclusive society of preparatory schools and Ivy League colleges, knowing how to network with the right individuals to start your career off on the right footing, and just being in the right circles, and also being a key figure within your community and being able to utilize your social network to elevate to higher realms within that particular social circle that you belong to. This is also a style personality that is very much modeled after the British upper class sentiment, and also takes a lot of its influence from the British upper class in terms of the etiquette and mannerism and how one presents themselves in their public and also their professional life. Now, again, this is the traditional aesthetic and energy of the prep Ivy League style personality. But as you will see, as we get into the modern aspect of this particular style personality, also known as the trad neo-prep style personality, you will start to see a significant difference in terms of the inclusiveness for any individual who wants to tap into this particular energy, lifestyle, and not necessarily come from an elite family or have gone to an elite preparatory or Ivy League college. So notable brands that have their foundations, their roots within this particular style personality include Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, who I'm wearing today, Lilly Pulitzer, Lacoste, the Brooks Brothers. These sort of exclusive traditional brands are based on heritage, based on tradition, and are also somewhat exclusive. More exclusive in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s than they are now, but they are synonymous with the prep Ivy League style personality, if you happen to resonate with it. The famous crocodile crest for Lacoste, the famous polo crest for Ralph Lauren, the famous blue and white branding for Tommy Hilfiger are all parts of this style aesthetic and energy of the prep Ivy League style personality. Now, if we are looking towards modern designers of this particular style personality, then we would be looking at such designers J. Crew, Banana Republic, H&M, Zara, those sort of accessible fashion brands that are more inclusive of a particular customer who definitely resonates with this particular style personality, but may not have necessarily gone to a preparatory school or an exclusive Ivy League school. They still are accessible to the wider customer within society who definitely resonates with this classic preparatory Ivy League style personality. So other signature style elements of the preppy Ivy League style personality for women are pearls, either a pearl necklace, pearl earrings, a simple diamond stud. Your jewelry is classic, it's refined, it has a little bit of an antique, traditional old look feeling to it, but modernized if you happen to be a woman in the present who resonates with this particular style personality. And in a little bit, we'll be getting into emerging style icons who definitely resonate with this particular style personality as well. You'll also want to keep your handbag structured, not too loud, not too bold. If you are more leaning towards the traditional classic aesthetic of the prep Ivy League style personality, you'll also want to invest in a really good premium tweed or plaid or houndstooth two-piece suit, a skirt, a blazer, a really nice pair of well-tailored trousers. Again, this particular style personality is somewhat similar to the old money aesthetic. So let's talk about the traditional color palette of this particular style personality. Now, if you are new here to the channel, you just happen to come across this particular video and you are in the process of evolving your personal style, please take a moment to go back and check out my color branding series. If you happen to be a woman who is in the process of revamping, elevating your personal brand through style, color, and fit, and social etiquette, the first pillar that you're going to want to start at is your color branding palette. What color season and what color palette most resonates with who you are, and also your lifestyle, the lifestyle that you aspire to create for yourself or the current lifestyle that you are living. Color is so very important to pulling together your overall personal brand. That is the core pillar, or one of the core pillars of recreating who you are through style, through color, and also the overall silhouette of what you resonate with. So please do check out the color branding series, and I'll link to that below this video as well. But traditional colors of this particular style personality, as I mentioned before, is classic navy blues, browns, burgundies, classic crisp white, hunter greens, deep purples, those sort of classic jewel toned, earthy colors works quite beautifully with this particular style personality. Classic black, cream, mushroom cream colors, tan, those sort of colors work quite beautifully. So now when we look at the traditional element of this particular style personality, it is very much leaning towards heritage, tradition, and social signifiers. This is what this particular style personality is all about. As we look at other subcategories within this style personality, we are now leaning more towards the trad neo prep element of this particular style personality, which includes a more modernized, more technically advanced in the fabrics and the cuts and the type of patterns and colors that differentiates the classic style of the prep Ivy League versus that of the trad neo prep style personality. So if you do resonate with this style personality, but you're not entirely gravitating towards the very conservative, neat formality of this particular style personality, then your other option is the more modernized trad neo prep aspect of this style personality. And the style elements of the more modern neo prep elements of this style personality include modern tailoring that is more fitted and sculpted to your body, colors that are more bold and not as subdued and earthy as the traditional color palette for the classic prep Ivy League aspect of this style personality. You will also more gravitate towards newer, more fresher brands such as Thom Browne, Gaunt, J. Crew, Beam, and Tomorrowland. These modern, fresher takes on the traditional heritage brands that I spoke about before are more leaning towards the modernized, more inclusive aspect of this particular style personality, and are also at a much more affordable in terms of pricing versus the old guard traditional heritage brands such as the ones that I mentioned before. So signature style elements of the modern, fresher take on the traditional old guard heritage prep Ivy League style personality include statement cardigans, printed dresses, bold accessories, pattern mixing, and modern cuts. This is very much a diversion from the classic traditional old guard of the prep Ivy League style as we knew it in the 1920s, the 1950s, and even in the 1980s. Now, the color palette for the trad neo-prep style personality, which is a subcategory within the prep Ivy League style personality, the colors are a little bit more brighter, they're a little bit more bold. Now, when we are looking at the trad neo-prep version of this particular style personality, there's also the option of leaning more light academia style or dark academia style. And what do I mean by that? Well, light academia style, you are more of the optimistic, lighter, energized version of this particular style personality. So you are more of the team spirit, go-getter, community builder who is very much active within your community. You are well known, you are well spoken, and people know you and gravitate towards you. Think of the valedictorian of the year for your school or the class president. That is more of the light academia of this particular style personality. Then there is the dark academia style, who's more serious, more into learning about classical literature and existential literature. You're a little bit goth, a little bit edgy, but you still reserve that conservative energy and formality of this style personality. If you more lean towards the dark academia style within the umbrella of this style personality, you will more lean towards darker color palettes such as burgundies and dark browns and deep hunter greens and mossy greens, mushroom colors, dark chocolate, darkest of black, khaki colors. Those are the sort of colors that you tend to lean towards if you're more dark academia style. If you're light academia style within the umbrella of the prep Ivy League style personality, your color palette is going to be a little bit more lighter, a little bit more neutral. So you're going to more lean towards these softer pastels of your blues and your creams and your blush pinks and your soft Easter egg yellows. Those sort of cashmere colors, creamy cashmere colors will definitely resonate with the light academia style under the umbrella of this particular style personality. So to understand this particular style personality, let's get into the lifestyle of those individuals who tend to resonate with this particular style personality. Or perhaps you are a woman who is aspiring within your career, your personal life, to create a certain lifestyle for yourself, and you definitely know that you resonate with this particular style personality. What is the lifestyle around the Ivy League prep energy and aesthetic? Let's get into it.
So if you are a woman who definitely resonates with this particular style personality, you see yourself gravitating towards this style personality, or perhaps you already are this style personality and you want to upgrade, you want to elevate some of the key signature pieces of the preppy Ivy League style personality, your lifestyle will definitely reflect how you evoke the energy of this particular style personality in your day-to-day life, whether in your personal or your professional life. So as you know, the preppy culture isn't just about fashion. It is a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle for those women who are interested in moving into exclusive groups within their respective communities, within their career, or they just simply want an overall lifestyle elevation and are moving towards doing so. So you may also be into activities such as rowing and sailing, or you may have an appreciation for sports which emphasizes teamwork, tradition, building upon community. You may also appreciate, or you may also be into other sports such as tennis and golf. Now, these are popular sports that reflect the preppy ethos, but these are also sports that's all about networking and strategically networking, perhaps with a client, perhaps with your work colleagues, perhaps with your supervisor or manager who is going to help you to elevate into higher realms within your career and within your professional network. Now, in the summer, you are a woman, if you happen to resonate with this particular style personality, who loves to experience exclusive locations. So we're thinking of Martha Vineyard, the Hamptons, and also traveling to international destinations that are not well known, but are known within the inner circle of exclusive groups that you tend to be a part of or that you want to be included within. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of the lifestyle that aligns beautifully with the preppy Ivy League woman of style. This is a woman who is very much active within her life. She very much knows the direction that she wants to go, and she is very much closely related to the classic elegant woman of style. Again, if you haven't watched that special style personality where I added in a bonus style personality, the old money aesthetic versus the classic elegant woman of style, please do go back and watch that video, because these two style personalities are closely related. Let's get back into the remainder of this video.